Hey everyone, it's Anne, just Still City Scented, where we discuss artsy, weirdo, indie, and vintage perfume. If you love those, you are in the correct place. Hope everyone is doing absolutely fantastic, and thank you for joining me again. I thought I would review this morning, because it's getting warmer, 2 fragrances from the House of Boucheron that I absolutely love in the heat. They really come alive on my skin, and now that it's getting slightly warmer, I figured we'd talk about them. So the first is Boucheron for Women, the EDP. And the second is the Boucheron for Women EDT. And these are both vintage OG formulations. The caveat with comparing these for today is that this bottle obviously is a significantly lower fill than this bottle, and you can just tell by the juice color differential. So knowing that, the top notes, which we'll discuss, are significantly decreased in the EDP versus the EDT. But I will say, as a general rule, the difference in concentration between the two, unlike some other perfume houses, is really the only difference between these two. So what I'll talk about in the EDT, you will smell in the EDP only at a higher concentration. So per usual cadence, we'll go over the house history briefly, the notes of both, because they're actually the same in these, which is convenient, where I wear them, and then comparables. So on to Boucheron as a house. So it was founded in 1858 by 3 brothers, Francois, let me get this right, Frédéric, Louis, and Alain Boucheron. Now, those gentlemen really were in the jewelry design. That was their career. They were jewelers. They were not perfumers. There was no perfume actually released by Boucheron until 1988, and they have 22 since then. So really, it took them 130 years to actually get in the frag game. But they have a beautiful jewelry collection. And they were actually the first jewelers to move into 26 Place Vendôme, where all the Guerlain was, Coty, everyone else that was really into that makeup, cosmetics, self-care, perfume industry back in the day. That was where you wanted to be, was Place Vendôme. And Boucheron, they were smart. They got the corner building, or lot, I guess, in that building, so that when the sun shined in, all their diamonds looked even more sparkly than normal. And they developed their own ranking system for diamonds, independent of what, I don't even know what the 4Cs, who the overseer for that is, but they have an independent diamond rating system between that. So they've done a lot of collaborations with fashion, very, very big fashion designers that have also done fragrances, like Alexander McQueen, whom I love. And they've done bags, but predominantly jewelry, fashion, and handbags. And then again, much later came fragrances. So a brief house history. So onto the notes of both, again, the EDP and the EDT, because they're the same. So the top notes: orange blossom, tagettes, apricot, mandarin orange, basil, bergamot, and galbanum. So when I spray both of these, again, the top notes, minus the basil and the galbanum for the EDP, are gone, right? And that makes sense because they're citrus notes. The EDT, though, it opens very spicy, citrusy, spicy, and that's just fantastic in the heat. The heart notes for both, again, Iris, Broom, Jasmine, Narcissus, Tuberose, and Ylang-Ylang. So slightly skanky with that Jasmine and Tuberose. The mid of this, which I really can't smell on the EDP, I sprayed these about an hour ago. The base notes are really what's dominating the EDP right now. But so I've moved through the top, and we're getting into like this Iris Broom phase on the EDT. The tuberose here is not really loud, so if you're averse to tuberose, please don't be afraid of this, because it's not, again, something that's going to be overwhelming like something in Sand and Sable by Coty, for instance. And the iris is present, but it's not, it's a more powdery iris, but it's not anything, again, that is super iris or Orris heavy, so don't expect that, a buttery Orris or a super lipsticky iris, but you'll smell a little bit. But the base notes, I love amber-based fragrances, and this is just really one that is great for me. I actually put Avon up probably at the highest of my amber-based fragrances because they do amber so well, but this actually is really beautiful. So on the EDP side, God, it's frankincense and amber and some benzoin really coming out. The vanilla, I don't get so much of, so it's not like a Geranium vanilla amber combination benzoin frankincense, but it's definitely got a presence there I haven't smelled sandalwood yet, but I might get to that. But again, it's still hanging out in the heart. So why I love both of these fragrances so much in the heat, again, especially when I have a full EDP upstairs, but it progresses through this beautiful citrus, beautiful floral, skanky mid, and then gets to, I'm sorry, there's Civet in the base as well. So it hasn't come out yet, but it's like sneaky skanky, right? So you get to this, I hesitate to say this, but it's kind of like, in my mind, how I picture it is like the to and fro of engaging someone, right? So you have this bright citruses, you're hanging out, everything's happy, happy, happy. And then the heart notes, so that's like the introductory period with someone, right? Like you're flirting, you're having a good time in the top. The heart notes is when the conversation gets a little more interesting, right? So you have the Iris, Jasmine, Narcissus, Tuberose. So your conversation gets a little bit more heated, right? And in the base notes, I think we all know what's going on in the base notes with the Civet, amber, frankincense, right? So it's a very crude way of discussing it, but it progresses again from something that's present, floral, absolutely spicy, beautiful, to a little bit more serious in the heart, and then again, the action happens in the base. So both of these are really beautiful. I would wear these honestly anywhere because I don't find either of them to be super powerful, super overwhelming unless you overspray. So I've only sprayed 2 sprays for them in my hand, actually 3. God, it's beautiful. And again, much more potent despite not a crazy difference in concentration. But again, and the feel difference I think makes up for that. But it's fantastic. So if you're looking for something that's floral, a little spicy, and then a little naughty at the end, I think either of these would be a good choice. The newer versions, I wouldn't even get, honestly. You can find minis of these on eBay and see if you like it. The newer versions are so neutered, unfortunately. I don't even know if there's Civet in the newer ones or synthetic Civet, but a lot of the heavier notes in the base and the heart notes, they're using aroma chemicals, obviously, which is fine, but it just seems to be a lot more thin and light and flat to me than the vintage versions. So the new versions are already getting donated because, again, they're just not worth wearing to me when I have these older ones. So I hope you guys have experienced these. If not, I would definitely recommend it. Again, in the late 80s, everything was loud and shoulder pads to overcome exhaust, pollution, cigarette smoke, whatever. So just keep that in mind. But if you're a fan of either male or female, or however you identify, could wear these. I just really feel like it's a good choice to have in your collection, again, especially as it gets warmer. If you like something a little bit more daring, a little bit naughty, and a little bit amazing. So, all right, guys, if you've had experience with this, please put it in the comments below. We'll talk soon, guys. Take care. Bye.